Okay, so we're gonna start down here in the basement, and we have our little random basement garden. This looks a little random with all the lights and everything, but it works really good. And what this is, I don't know if I told you guys how I rigged this up, but this is 2 green screen sets that we have from that we've had for a long time for making videos, you know, and we weren't really using them for green screen, so I thought, you know what, this would be perfect to hold lights. We have 2 of these, there's little tripod looking things on each side, and I just have them, I have a little bit of duct tape holding them together and some other random stuff. But then we just have these grow lights that I got on Amazon. They work really, really good, and they're not too expensive, and they're LED, so they're not too hot. And I just have them all lined up, or all plugged into each other, like in a series circuit type of thing. We have it plugged into this green extension cord, which I'm going to try to show you without showing all the mess in our basement, which goes up to this outlet that has a timer on it. And that timer, see, we have one plugged in here. This is for the little tote garden I was just showing you. And this side goes to our grow tent. And that way we don't have to worry about the lights. They just come on automatically. But I wanted to show you what's going on in here. So everything is growing really good right now. This is the lemon balm, and I've been harvesting this like crazy, and it has just been growing really good. It smells so good, and it makes amazing tea. And my chamomile that I transplanted is finally looking happy after looking so sad, and it's finally making flowers, as you can see, which is awesome. And I've been harvesting these flowers and drying some of them and then using some for tea, and it's just so nice. This one over here is it hasn't quite gotten as far along as the other one, but you can see it is starting to make, see if I can get to focus. It is starting to make flower heads, little buds and stuff, so it is doing really good. This is our Tulsi or holy basil that's back here, and it smells so good. So fragrant, and I've been picking it and drying little bits of it, or just coming in and getting a little bit to add to my tea, and it's just awesome. And down here we have our mint, and it's doing really good. It's pretty small. I'm not sure which variety of mint this is. It said it was just peppermint, but it's like a really small mint, so I'm not sure if that was labeled correctly. And then here's the rest of my chamomile over here, and you can see it's doing really good as long as I remember to water it. It has been taking a ton of water, but I think it's because it's just producing all these flowers. I've picked probably a good handful of flowers so far, and there's still just tons of them. So I'm hoping that I've been trying to dry some of them, at least half of what I pick, so I have them for future use. But they smell so good, and I just love it, and I'm really happy that they're doing so good in our basement. And then we have our little tote over here. I'm going to try to turn this fan so it doesn't blow at the microphone. This is the arugula and spinach that we planted, and it is doing really good. I picked a little bit of this yesterday for a salad, and it was really, really good. I just added it on top of my salad, and it was very nice being able to just come in my basement and get like salad parts and then like pick all the herbs from the herb garden. Was awesome. So this is doing good. I'm just trying to keep it watered, and it's getting plenty of light, and it seems to be quite happy. All right, now we're going to take a look in the tent. And I'm sorry if you hear a loud noise. My air conditioner is right next to me, and it just kicked on. But here is how everything is going in our grow tent in our basement, and it's doing really good. Things are getting crazy in here. So we added an extra tier in here. We used the wood from our kids' leftover old bunk bed that they didn't want in their room anymore because they're too old and cool for it. And so we took it apart and made this little platform. So a little DIY using stuff that we already had, which is always nice. That way we could have 2 layers of stuff growing in here, because everything that was growing in here was kind of short, and it really wasn't using up all the space, and it seemed like a waste. So what we have going on right now is we have our fingerling potatoes. We got this bag here, and then there's another bag in the corner over there, and it's kind of hard to tell. Everything's just a jungle, but there's 2 bags, and they're in the grow bags. They're doing pretty good. I do have to water them like almost every day now, or they just suck up all the water. And I think part of that is because they're in grow bags, and we have this fan here, and I think it's just the air circulation is just drying them out quickly. So I'm trying to keep on top of watering them. but they're definitely not getting root rot or anything like that. Then in the back corner, there is our other bucket of, I think it's Yukon Gold potatoes. And then there's the second one up here. And we just had to make room for our zucchini, so I stuck that one up there. And I gotta show you guys our zucchini plant. This is our zucchini. I started this from seed in the house, and I took it outside, and then I decided to bring it back inside because there wasn't getting enough sun, I don't think. And look at the little zucchini growing in here. It's so cute. I'm trying to get in there so I can show you. Here it is. And yes, we have fungus gnats, and they're just driving me insane. But here's our the biggest little zucchini. And then there's a bunch more in there. If you look, they're just sprouting up all over the place. It's awesome. So I'm very excited about the little squashes. And then we have two more baby zucchinis here that need to be repotted horribly. They're in these little tiny pots, but they were really small. And then I stuck them in here and they just went bananas. And there's just flowers coming up. So I wanted to get a pot for them yesterday. I couldn't find a good one at Walmart. So we're going to look at a couple other stores and try to find some pots for these guys because I'm pretty much out at the moment. Then we also have, this is my moringa tree that I'm trying to grow. And so far I brought it in. It wasn't looking very happy outside. You can see these leaves got kind of shriveled. And I think it was because it was too wet. And this is like a plant that's used to living in a drier environment. But so I brought it in the house and I stuck it in the tent and let it, I haven't watered it in a while because it was really, really wet, and it's finally starting to look happy, like it's gonna maybe do something, and it's getting lots of new leaves. So I'm hoping for the best with this plant. These are supposed to be like you can eat all the parts of the plant. So I'm really like interested to, I've never grown this before or lived anywhere where this grew, so it's a new thing for me, but I'm really interested in checking that out. And then I wanted to also show you, I got this pitcher plant, which I was really excited about. Like I said, we have fungus gnats, and you know, that's just how it goes, and I'm working on getting rid of them. But I also thought, hey, why not get a carnivorous plant and maybe it could eat some of my little annoying bugs. So right now that's what this guy is doing, hopefully, and it seems to be pretty happy in here. It's fairly warm in this tent, and humid, and that's the kind of environment that these pitcher plants love. And you can see it's sitting in water. They really like a lot of water. But it looks like it's doing really good. I've had it for a few weeks now and it seems to be getting bigger, so that's good. And then we have our parsley and our cilantro. I moved them in here because they were just not looking real happy upstairs, and they have definitely gotten a little happier looking. They're getting bigger and they're starting to green back up. They were getting kind of yellow and sad. And then up here we have our carrots that are finally looking happy and taking off. They were outside and they were kind of in the corner and not getting enough light, so I thought I'd bring them in here. And ever since, they have gotten a lot bigger, so I guess I was right. They needed more sun. A little artificial sun seems to be fine with them. All right, so that is how things are going right now. Our two plastic buckets of potatoes, the one down here and the one up here, is probably going to be ready for harvest soon. I'm thinking maybe by the end of this month we'll be harvesting those, so we'll definitely make a video about that. All right, so that's everything in the basement. Let's go upstairs and see what I got going on in the living room, and then I'll show you the outside garden and show you how awesome everything is doing out there. Okay, so here's what I got going on the upstairs shelf. There's not a lot, but I am trying to root a sucker from one of my sweetie tomato plants, and I did this with some other suckers from my other tomato plants, and it worked really good, so I'm going to try to do it with that one too. And then we have sage growing in here. We got spilanthes growing, which I have a bunch outside. We got this Ella campaign that I still haven't planted. I really got to find a home for that. I got 2 containers of thyme that are doing pretty good. And then I'm growing a sweet potato from the end of a grocery store grocery store sweet potato, and I'm going to see if it does anything. I have no idea if this will actually make sweet potatoes, but I thought it'd be a fun experiment. And it's got a little root growing in there. It's doing pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. And then I have one little rosemary growing back there. It seems pretty happy. And then we have our new tent that we really haven't utilized a lot yet, but We do have a few things in there. Excuse me, Daisy, please don't get in the tent. All right, so I got some of my house plants over here that are kind of needing something. I'm not sure what they need, to be honest, but they seem a little sad. This one looks pretty good. These two, I'm not sure what's going on. But here's some, excuse me, Daisy, excuse me. Here's some more sage. I have a ton of sage that I started. I didn't expect it all to come up, but then it did, so now I have a lot of sage. If it grows really good, I guess at Thanksgiving, I'll be glad because I use a lot of sage in my Thanksgiving food. So this is Swiss chard. Right here that I just brought in recently. It was outside and now it's inside because it wasn't getting enough light. I think the Swiss chard is doing better in here. And I have one outside that's doing really good too. And then these, let me show you these tomato plants. I started all 4 of these tomato plants from cuttings of my tomato plants outside. I just pulled the suckers off. These were suckers originally, and I stuck them in water, and I waited about a week or so, and they all grew roots. And then I planted them in these little pots, and I'm going to see how they do. They've only been in here for a couple days, but so far they seem to be doing all right. So I am really interested to see how this turns out, and if I just made free tomato plants, that would be pretty sweet. Yesterday we went to Walmart, and of course I had to grab a couple plants. So I grabbed one of these patio hybrid tomato plants, and it was looking pretty droopy, but I watered it real good and now it's looking pretty happy. And then I got a Greek oregano that is looking a lot happier than it did at Walmart as well. So I gotta get some, excuse me, Daisy, I gotta get some pots for these so I can, Daisy wants to say hi. Daisy, can you just say hi? What are you doing? Okay. Anyways, I need to get some pots for those. So for now, they're just in their little pots they came in from the store. Now we're outside and it's really cloudy today. I don't know if you can see that. A real rainy, cloudy day. But everything in the garden is doing really good. Well, except for that cabbage. But this Swiss chard is looking super duper awesome. I actually picked a couple leaves of this morning just to see how it was, and it was really good. But it's growing really, really well. I think I hear baby birds. It's very high pitch. Okay, so here's just our little balcony thing, and this dill is doing great. I've been picking it and using it. The other day I made some homemade ranch and I put it in my ranch dressing and it was so good. I'm hoping that it gets bigger and I want to make some pickles. So I'm hoping for the best. It'd be perfect if my cucumbers ripen right at the same time as my dill. But my nasturtiums over here are doing okay. They're not looking like quite as good as ones over there, but they're doing pretty good. And then I have one chive. One chive that is very long. And I don't know what's going to happen with these calendulas because it didn't dawn on me that they were going to be this big as this. I don't know if you can see they've gotten crazy in this toad over here. So I'm probably gonna have to transplant these and put something else in there, but I'll worry about that in a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna show you over here from the outside kind of some of this and then I'll go inside. But we got our marigold that my youngest son planted. He's very proud of. And that's just there attracting bees. And you see the green onions we got growing in there, and they're doing great. I've been picking them and they are awesome, and I love using them for anything I can think of to use them in. And then down here we have, this is echinacea growing in this bucket, and it's finally really starting to get taller and take off, so I'm really hoping that that does good. And we actually, there's wild echinacea that grows down by the pond over there, and but since we're in a townhome, I don't know if they spray or not. Some ways are kind of iffy about picking anything that grows around here. Here's the really good nasturtium. This one is going really well, getting really big. I think it is gonna bloom soon. You see those little pod deals? I think those, I haven't grown nasturtiums before. It's actually the first time I've grown them. So I'm guessing that's gonna be flowers, and I hope so because I'm very excited about them. Okay, so it has gotten crazy in the squirrel cage, anti-squirrel cage, should I say. So I'm gonna have to move these tomatoes out of the way so I can get in here and show you. Let me do that real quick. It just rained today, so everything is very wet and heavy. But they seem to really like it when it rains. So I'm gonna be getting tomato cages soon, and you can see that everything needs it really bad. They're very drooped over and flopping all over the place, but I'm trying to kind of keep them propped up against each other. But you can see these tomatoes had issues. What happened was they were outside and they were doing fine, but then we had to bring them in because they were getting too big and we wanted to make room in here. So I brought them in and I put them in the tent. Well, it had rained and the dirt was totally wet, and I guess when they came in, it was like they didn't dry out fast enough and they started getting like edema, or like they started looking all sad, and the stems were all like swollen looking, and you can see it's all like brown on the edges. And so we were like, oh no, and we brought them back outside and put them back in the sun, and they seemed to recover after they got back in the sun. As of now, we just have them outside because every time I'm trying to wait for them to dry out so I can bring them in the house, but it keeps raining, so they're just still outside. But they're growing really good. They're just taking up all the space in here, so we're gonna have to figure that out eventually. Here's the green onions from this angle, and they're just so nice, and they're not huge yet. They're still, see, I cut a couple the other day. I'm trying to wait and let them get bigger before I pull them all the way out. There's some over here that are getting pretty good size, but they're delicious. Our tomatoes do have a few green tomatoes. If you look around here, there's a couple. Very excited about those. And there's lots of flowers. Yeah, it's pollen. Lots of flowers. Everything's looking really good. Here is the calendula. It's been going crazy. This thing has just taken over this tote and is blooming all over the place. I have picked tons of them and dried them, and it is just going totally bananas. My poor toothache plant, or spilanthes, is down here too. It's just getting kind of taken over by the calendula. But that's fine. I'm fine with it. It's just my little medicinal garden. I've picked a ton of the spilanthes and dried it. All the little flowers, so I've been trying to keep up with it. Did you just lock me in here? Do not do that. And here, there's been a chipmunk messing with our dirt. But this is our little sweet peppers, and they have been so slow to do much of anything, but they're finally starting. I'm trying to get it to focus here. They're finally starting to get like some little blossom, like they're gonna bloom. So that's good. See, they've just been very slow, but they're supposed to be really good sweet peppers, so I'm hoping that they'll turn out. I also have a teeny tiny little rosemary right there. I don't know how it's gonna do, but it does seem to be doing better. Okay, so I've been holding off on picking snap peas because I wanted to actually show some before I picked them, but I've been picking them, and I keep thinking, oh, I should probably make a video about this. I'll show you a few. I'm actually getting like a handful of snap peas whenever I come out here now instead of just like one. And they're kind of like hiding all over the place. So like there's one back here, and I'm gonna pick it over here, and there's more hiding in here. Emma, what are you doing? Oh, your daughter's picking one behind me. Okay, and I'm trying to get in here and get them while I'm filming. They're all hiding back behind. I don't know why I'm whispering. I feel like I need to whisper. Okay, so here's some. This one's really tiny. I'm probably gonna leave it. And here's one. What else? Is there any more hiding in here? It's like a adventure trying to find all the snap peas. Oh, there's one. No, you found another one? Is it down there?
Let me pick it.
Here.
Oh, I found another one over there.
Can you reach this one, Emma? Here, I'll let her grab a couple. Can you get in there? Don't pick that one, it's too little. Okay, here, take these. Well, show us how many we got so far. So here's our little, our handful of snap peas. Those are looking good. And they taste so good. Oh, wow, we can all actually have like at least one, maybe more than one. How is it? Not eat a tiny one. They're delicious. Okay, let me finish chewing. Everything in the green stalk has just gone crazy. And it's a jungle. It's really a jungle. All right, so we'll start with what's closest. This is the other sweetie tomato that is finally starting to take off. It was really small for a while. In the last week, it has doubled in size. It has some little blooms starting here. And I've been just trying to make sure everything gets even amount of sun, because the sun pretty much only comes on this side. This is like west facing, and that's south. So we're trying to get the sun. You see, we have our big building right here, and we're trying to get enough sun on everything. But they seem to be doing okay, as they get plenty of sun from noon till like, I don't know, like 6 or 7. So it seems to be working out okay. You see our jalapenos are doing awesome. We have tons of little jalapenos. Finally, it took a while. I was kind of concerned, but you see they're doing really good. And this one is finally starting to get a few, and there's a bunch over here, and there's little tiny ones. We got lots of jalapenos growing. I wanted to show you guys the green beans. I was gonna... Oh, she's here? Cool. We got tons of green beans growing up underneath here. It is just going crazy, and I'm trying to let them get a little bit bigger. I want to pick a bunch at once instead of just picking one at a time. So since I don't have that many green beans planted, but I definitely am gonna be planting more green beans because they are awesome, and we just don't have enough right now. This one hasn't really got too many beans yet, but it's got lots of flowers, so I know it will. Here is another one. Look at that green. Okay, that one looks like it needs to be picked. I'm gonna go ahead and pick that one. Yeah, see how nice it looks? These are just, and they're delicious. We haven't cooked them yet. We've only eaten them raw because there's only been a few here and there, but they're so good. Here is my little rosemary. It's doing good. Emma, you want to hold this green bean? Don't eat it. Just save it. Really? Come on, save it.
It looks so tasty.
Okay. Let's look down in here. There's some Swiss chard growing in here. I'm trying to find it. It's right here. And it's not getting loads of sun, so I don't think it's super happy because the jalapenos are just taking up all the sun. But I think it is still, it's getting bigger, so that's at least something. And these are some collard greens that I'm growing, and I'm very excited about. I need to grow more collard greens because this just isn't enough to do much with, but they're looking really good. So now that I've kind of gotten the hang of this tower garden, I'm definitely going to be planting some more things in it, and I'm going to be planting some of these greens indoors too. Our basil is doing great. I started all these from seed. Well, I only have 2 plants, but they're hiding here under the cucumber. But I just picked a bunch of this and it's gotten big again, so it's growing like crazy. Our cayenne peppers are just crazy. They're just like crazy is the name of this garden today, I guess. There's just loads of them. I'm just waiting for them to turn red so I can pick them, but it's like a curly one right here. They're doing so good. I can't wait to make some hot sauce. I'm super excited. My plantain that I am growing, because I don't trust the plantain growing in the yard around here since I'm afraid they spray it, but it's doing great. I've been picking this. I have a whole big jar full of dried plantain now, which is awesome for any kind of like boo-boos or anything that happen. And these cucumbers are going crazy. Look at this. I got all these cucumbers, and it looks a little wilty, but it did rain today, so I think it's gonna perk up. But look at this. Look at this guy. Isn't that amazing? I hope this properly ripens and everything because it is beautiful and I'm so excited about it. And look, there's another one, and there's loads of teeny tiny ones. I mean, these things are just going crazy. I can't believe how many cucumbers there are. Like, and there's over here, this one, this Kalunga cucumber is just, look at this one. This one's a big one. Got this guy down here. I am so excited. I just hope nothing goes wrong with them. So far, everybody is doing amazing. I am so excited. And like I said, I hope that these cucumbers ripen at the same time my dill does. So that'll just be perfect. There's our green beans again. There's another one that probably needs to be picked. I don't want to leave them too long because I want them to make more green beans. Oh yay, the sun's coming out. Yay! I hear the lovely sound of sirens going on nearby. And these are our lemon cucumbers, and they are blooming like crazy. There's not really much sign of any cucumbers growing. I'm not sure how they're going to look because I've never grown a lemon cucumber before. But I think that right there on the end of that flower right here might be the start of one. So that'll be interesting to see. But they're blooming like crazy. So it'll be fun to see how those turn out. And rotate them around here. I'm trying to make sure they all get equal sun.
Look, it's getting sunny.
Yeah, the sun's coming out. Everybody will be happy. They got rain the first part of the day, and now they're getting sun. I'm trying to get these cucumbers some nice sunlight. But yeah, so that's how everything is going back here. It's just going crazy. But I want to show you one more thing before I close this up, and there's going to be noise. The air conditioner is right here. But that's our kiddie pool. This has onions and garlic growing in it. These big onions are from a store-bought onion, actually from an Azure Standard bought onion. that started sprouting, and then I planted it. And then these are some little baby onions that I actually started from seed, and I don't know how they're gonna do, but so far they haven't, you know, died or anything. They seem to be doing pretty good. And then back there, those two things sticking up are garlic that sprouted from some garlic I had in the house. So we're gonna see how that does. I have no idea. And then I have my little compost bucket right here on the ground, and it has a bunch of food scraps and paper, and it's just a 5-gallon bucket. And I am working on composting with that, and we're actually planning on getting a worm composting system in the near future, so I'll let you know when we do that, so it goes a little faster. But that's the update for today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I am so excited to see how everything is going to turn out. I'll show you real quick my sad cabbage. My cabbage is just wilting. But what I did actually, I planted these, they were doing pretty good, and then I brought them in the house, and they didn't seem to like it. I think something, again, about being too wet. So it kind of almost looks like it might not be totally dead. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it, see what happens. But if it died, I'll just plant another one. We'll see how it goes. All right, so that is how our garden's doing right now, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video.